everyone, welcome back to my channel, and for today's video I'm going to be showing you the eyeshadow palettes that I currently own. I'm going to be starting off with the small palettes and then moving on to the bigger palettes. So let's go ahead and get started. The first eyeshadow palette is from Wet n Wild. It is the Fire eyeshadow palette. As you can see here, it's got a couple of eyeshadows and this compact. Right here you've got the reddish and the orange is a little bit bigger than all the others, so it's got a couple of colors in here. I like its compact size. I haven't used it in a while, but I do like it for travel purposes because you get a little bit of neutrals here on this edge, and then you have a little bit of color, which is enough for when you're traveling. The next few that I'm going to be showing you are my Huda Beauty Obsessions palettes. The first one is the Electric eyeshadow palette, which I'm super excited to have in my collection. I wanted this for a while and my mom bought it for me for Christmas one year. I haven't used it, but I don't think it's one that I will leave my collection at any point. I love the colors in this. I love how bright they are. I love, as you can see, I kind of dipped my finger in it, but I love the brightness of these and I hope to use it at some point in the future. The second Obsessions palette is the Amethyst Obsessions. This is the packaging. And then this is what it looks like on the inside. Beautiful purples. I like that this one and the Ruby Obsessions is those reddish and the purple colors, that it's just all in one palette. And this is what the Ruby Obsessions one looks like. As you can see, this one's definitely gotten some use. I also like these for travel, especially the red one in case I want to do like a red look, but I think they're very compact and I just like them that way. The next one is from ColourPop and it's the Just My Luck one. I haven't used this one. Majority of the eyeshadow palettes that I'm going to show you are ones that I haven't used but I still have in my collection. This one also has a mirror, but it's got the like packaging thing because I haven't used it. But these are the colors in it. Oh, I think my finger somehow got inside that one. Really nice colors. I'm trying to find an occasion to use this one. This one is also from ColourPop. It's the Mar eyeshadow palette, and this is actually the original one when it first launched. I think that they did a couple of eyeshadow pan changes afterwards, but this is the original that I bought. I bought it with the Sol palette, which I got rid of that one a long time ago. But again, it has a mirror and this is the colors. For a palette that says Mar, I realized it doesn't have a lot of like the blues in here. It has more of the browns, but I mostly bought it for this one right here because this one is such a beautiful color in my mind. And that's the whole purpose for me buying it. It is a newer one to my collection. It's from BH Cosmetics. It's the Digital Future eyeshadow palette. And I purchased it mainly for its size because if you look at the pan, like the eyeshadow pans, they are so small and you get a lot of eyeshadows with such a small pan, which works really nice if you're not really going to, like if you don't use a lot of eyeshadow palettes or if you have a bigger eyeshadow palette collection, to have the smaller pans to really be able to use them and use them up, I would feel like in a decent amount of time. So I liked the colors in here, hence why it's in my collection. The next one is from Violet Voss. It's the Fruit Sorbet one. I love the colors in here. This is another one that I haven't really used, but look at these colors. I love this bright one and then I love this bright green one as well. Can't wait to use that one. The next one is from Pat McGrath and it's the only Pat McGrath one that I own. And I don't know the name of this. It's the Eye Ecstasy Subversive eyeshadow palette. It's got 5 eyeshadows in here. This is the packaging, which first of all, I love the packaging. It's very clean, it's very transparent. And then in here, this is what the eyeshadows look like. Very beautiful colors. I can't wait to play with this and try this out in the future. The next small eyeshadow palette is from Viseart or Visart, not quite sure how to pronounce it. And it's this little petite eyeshadow palette here. I think this is the Soleil one. It has a small mirror in here, but then it also has these nice colors down here. I like that it has protective packaging here, whereas most it just has that clear package that falls off. This one actually stays on when you use it, but these are some of the colors in here. The next one is from ColourPop. It's the Make Up Your Mind eyeshadow palette. It doesn't have a mirror, but it's got these 6 little eyeshadows. Again, the pan size is pretty decent. I picked this up for free when I purchased some makeup from ColourPop. I don't remember what specific thing it was that I purchased, but at that time you would get this for free if you spent a certain amount, and I did. And then I know that later on they had it available like for individual sale. Okay, the last small eyeshadow palette that I want to share with you guys is from e.l.f. This is also a newer one to my, I was going to say to my commercial, but that's not right, to my collection. This one has 4 eyeshadows in it. As you can see, I haven't really opened it, but I went with the like more neutrals plus the blue one here for travel because I think this is a good travel sized eyeshadow palette. Okay, I'm moving on to the bigger eyeshadow palettes now. Let's get to it. The first one is the newest addition to my eyeshadow palette collection, and it is one that I absolutely am in love with in terms of packaging and the eyeshadow colors in here. It is the Melt Cosmetics Beetlejuice Recently Deceased Eyeshadow Palette. Can we talk about this packaging? Because this is amazing packaging. Look at this packaging. I think it's so gorgeous. The neon green, the Beetlejuice snake from the movie that we recognize so instantly. And then what I love about the inside of this is it doesn't just have a clear protective covering. It has a scene from the movie in here. I don't know if you guys can really tell, but it's a scene where they're in the cemetery of the little town building that he modeled. I know there's like a specific term for it, but I can't remember. But it's that scene where they're kind of digging him up for the first time, which that is so clever. That's just so clever to me to have this. It's so cute and so clever. I don't think I've seen any other eyeshadow palette have something like that in it, which is really cool. Also, this does come with a mirror. I'm probably not going to be able to cover it up, so you're going to see the effects of the phone. It does have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 eyeshadows in here. And I went with this one because I wasn't really feeling the red one that they have because there's 2 of them. But like, these are so gorgeous. I love the purples in here. I love the greens. I can't wait to use this eyeshadow palette, and I still cannot get over the packaging. It's so brilliant. It's so perfectly done in my opinion. The next eyeshadow palette is from Beauty Creations, and it's the Tease Me palette. This is what it looks like, and then these are the colors. As you can see, I've gotten some use out of this one. It does have some eyeshadow palette names that I would be like, ooh, to say out loud, but other than that, I like it. I really like the shimmery eyeshadows in this one. I think they work really well on the eyes and they're easy to apply. I have a couple of ColourPop eyeshadow palettes, so I'm going to go ahead and talk about those now, like together. The first one is the Give It To Me Straight eyeshadow palette. This one doesn't have a mirror. These are the colors in it. It's to me, it's more of a neutral but like rosy golds eyeshadow palette, which I think is perfect for travel if you're wanting to add some color. And then it's got a couple of matte shades in here as well, so if you don't want to add a ton of color and you just want to go out, you can do that as well. I don't know if they have this one anymore. I would have to check the site. I haven't been on ColourPop in forever because I've tried really hard to not spend a lot on makeup last year with 2020, and then this year kind of the same thing. I also don't think that they have this one anymore, which is the Fortune palettes. I love this eyeshadow palette. I've gotten good use out of the more like brown tones, the neutral ones up here, not so much the bottom ones, but I enjoy putting these colors up on my crease or just overall to lay the groundwork for future eyeshadows to go on it. It's a really nice palette, and I also think that this one is another one that's good for travel because it has a lot of colors in here that you're going to be able to use and create good eye looks with. Moving on, it is the My Little Pony ColourPop eyeshadow. This is what it looks like on the inside. As you can see, I've gotten some use out of that like bluish one right down here. This is the one that I for sure know is no longer available on the ColourPop sites. I actually got it on clearance when it went on clearance. I don't watch My Little Pony. I'm not a My Little Pony fan, but when I saw these colors, I wanted this palette, and my husband was nice enough to purchase it for me. So that's how I know that it's no longer available, unfortunately, but I still use it from time to time. I like the colors in it, and I like the makeup looks that I'm able to do with it. The next one is probably the oldest eyeshadow palette in my collection, and it is the Yes Please ColourPop palettes. I think this is the very first palette that they came out with, if I remember correctly. So it's kind of crazy to see how far ColourPop has gone. This is what it looks like. As you can see, it's a little bit messy. Honestly, this is me trying to clean it up because it was way messier than that. I like this yellow one. I use that from time to time. And then all of the other ones here I also use. And if I remember correctly, this is also one of the eyeshadow palettes where the names are stickered on, but they're backwards. So like Full Sip isn't actually in the location that it's marked on in the back, if I remember that correctly from this eyeshadow palette. But yeah, I've still kept it. I still use it from time to time. It's a nice little palette. And then I think it's going to be the last ColourPop palette in my collection is the Perception Shayla and ColourPop collaboration one. I really like this eyeshadow palette. I haven't had a ton of use with it, but when I use it, I always like how it looks on my eyes. I like the makeup look that I've done. It's got some really nice colors in here, and that's why I haven't been able to let go of it. Also, I like the packaging on this one. It has a certain feel that's like, how do I explain it? I don't know, it just has a certain like, not silky feel, but a smooth feel. Like if you touch the palette, you kind of really like the feel of it, if that makes any sense to me. But also just the like pops of the purple and the golds in here. It's a nice packaging. I also have some Urban Decay ones that I want to go through and just discuss with you. First one is the Urban Decay Elements palette. This is one that I have debated decluttering, honestly, because some of the eyeshadows work well, and then there are other eyeshadows that don't work so well. But I don't know, I kind of want to continue to give this another chance and another try here, especially because my husband bought it for me I know it came out in holiday collection. I think it was 2018, if I remember correctly. But he had purchased it for me, and I feel like bad decluttering it because of that. Let me see if I can open it up. Also, like, it's a round eyeshadow palette, which isn't as convenient to store. But if I can open it, yes, because it has a little opening here. Also has a giant mirror, but this is what it looks like. It's got that white eyeshadow in the center, and then it's got a bunch of other colors. So it's got some nice neutral eyeshadows in here, and then it's got some definitely not neutral. It's got some colorful ones in here. So it's really weird because some of the eyeshadow palettes, like I said, work, especially some of the more shimmery ones work, and then some others don't. I feel like the mattes don't work as well as the shimmers, but then there are some shimmers that don't work quite as well as you would hope. So it might, I'm gonna have it around and I'm gonna try playing with it and seeing what I can come up with. And if it doesn't work out, then unfortunately it will have to go, but that's for a later time. All right, the other one is the Electric palette, which I absolutely love. I can't get rid of this one. This is what it looks like. Oh, there goes the brush. But this is what it looks like. I'm trying to do it better with the camera. Oh, it's so reflective. Nice, bright colors. I've used it a couple of times, especially these two. And I'm actually happy I still have this because originally I had seen it on the Sephora sale sites, and when I went to purchase it, it was no longer there. And then a friend of mine told me that I could find it at Nordstrom Rack. And so I went to Nordstrom Rack, and sure enough, there it was. So I picked it up, and I think I bought 2 of them because I was like, oh, in case I run out. But I haven't used it enough to have warranted that second one. And I think I gave that one away in the giveaway. But I've kept it. I use it from time to time, and I hope to use it more in this year as well. And then for the last Urban Decay one, it's pretty much a follow-up to the Electric palette. It's wired. This is what it looks like. And I think this is a newer one that came out. I believe it came out last year. But it's wired, and it's another one that's just got these bright colors in here. And what I love about this is that as you can see, this tells you that this is for face, body, and eye. And then this one tells you that it's for face and body. Because with some of the eyeshadows, you can't use them on the eyes. So all of the ones that are having an asterisk, I believe you can't really use, for face and beauty. It's more of like a full-on face one and not the eyes based on certain ingredients that are on there. So I like that for that one, they separated it so you know which ones are safe for the eyes and which ones are preferable that you don't use on your eye. The next two are from Makeup Revolution. The first one is the I'm assuming it's Sophie X, but I could be wrong and it's just Soph X collaboration, I'm assuming is what this is. If I can open it, there we go. It's got a big size mirror. And these are the eyeshadows in here. Again, this is another eyeshadow palette that's got some hit and miss eyeshadows. I believe like I know this one doesn't work as well on the eye. It's not as bright as I thought it would be, but the shimmer seems to work well, which is why I've kept it. But again, it's another eyeshadow where some of the shadows perform well and some of them not so much. And then the second Makeup Revolution one is the Roxy one. And I haven't used this one, but I really like the colors in here. I like these. I hope that these turn out to be as bright as they look on here, or as pastel-y, I guess, if you count that these two look like pastel colors. And then it's got a couple more colors down here. Next one is from Tarte, and it is the Tartelette Toasted Palette. I waited so long to purchase this, and I'm glad I did and that it's in my collection because it's a really nice one to have. Again, it's more of a neutral palette, but this color right here adds a lot of color to your eyes, so you don't need a lot more than that. Also, I like its size. It's so small and compact, and I feel like it's easy to travel with. And apparently I missed an Urban Decay one when talking about my Urban Decay palettes. This is the Urban Decay and Christy Leanne eyeshadow. I know that this is what the packaging looks like. As you can see, the eyeshadows aren't in a normal format, and I know that that was a lot of people's issue with this palette, was that it felt like a waste of space, which I agree in some regards. Like, I feel this could have been done in a much better layout, maybe reduce the packaging a little bit, but the eyeshadow palettes in here in general are really good. I don't see a problem with those at all. Especially the blue one right here. That one's a really good one. So I like this palette, and it's still staying in my collection. This palette is from Too Faced. It's the Gingerbread Spice eyeshadow palette. And this is, before I dig my finger in here, this is what it looks like. This was from 2018, I believe, and I use it from time to time. Okay, this next one is another one that I'm excited to have, that I'm happy is in my collection. It's the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. This is what it looks like. I purchased it mainly for price points because Natasha Denona palettes are super expensive. They're like $125, $129 for an eyeshadow palette, which is super out of my budget. So when I saw that she had come out with a $65 one, I purchased it because I needed to try it. Well, I didn't need to try it. I wanted to try it. It has good colors in here, but some of them, like other eyeshadow palettes, don't work quite as well as I was hoped. If you can see in this one right here, I really had to dig into this one to get some of the color payoff in it, but it still stayed in my collection. And I like the back has a little magnetic hole thing so that you can pop it out if you just want to take one or two and put it in like a Z palette. We're almost at the end here. The next one is a Dominique Cosmetics eyeshadow palette. It's Celestial Thunder, which I believe is a smaller version of, I don't remember the actual palette's name, but if I can find a picture, I'll put it up here. This was in BoxyCharm, and I like resubscribed to BoxyCharm solely to get this eyeshadow palette for this eyeshadow alone because I love this color, and I thought it would be really, really nice, a really nice color on my eyes, and yeah, that's why I bought it. Okay, apparently you missed a ColourPop one as well. This is the Villains Misunderstood palette. And this has quite a few eyeshadows in it, which I enjoy. I've used this a couple of times, and as you can see, I've used this one the most. It's a really good eyeshadow palette. It's another one that I hope to use more this year. The next one is from Alamar Cosmetics, and it's their original eyeshadow palette, the Reina del Caribe Volume 1. You can see these are the colors. I've used these top ones the most. I believe that I had an issue with one of them the last time that I used it though, so I will need to, of course, use this again and see if maybe it was an issue with the primer that I was using, because I had tried to put it on and it just was not working for me that day, but that was so long ago that I think it might have been the primer. Okay, and the final two that I have here are from Flirt Cosmetics. This brand is no longer available. I believe, if I remember correctly from what the lady said, Flirt Cosmetics was supposed to be Kohl's Kohl's makeup brand, and it didn't end up working. But this palette is a lot of glitters. I haven't touched it, as you can see, but I really do need to use it and try it out and see how these shimmers are placed on the eye and how they look. And then the last eyeshadow palette that I want to share with you guys is from Juvia's Place. It is the Masquerade eyeshadow palette. Look at it, it's a big one. I used to have the full-size version of this, and I decluttered it to purchase the mini version because those eyeshadow pans are so big that I knew I would never be able to use it all up. And so I wanted to have the mini version where the pans were smaller and I had more realistic goals of using it. Alright everybody, that's it. Those are all of my eyeshadow palettes. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like if you did, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos. But I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you when I see you. Bye.